Hello, everybody. My name is Ken Rock. Give me 1 second for this live stream just so I can make sure it's actually working properly. It looks like we are officially live. Sweet. So today we're going to be reacting to ABD's or Anime Ball Deep's Saitama vs. Goku video. This was suggested to me by somebody in the comments. I've lost the comment. If you're the one to suggest this, say something. I'll make sure to shout you out in the next video I do, which will be the Sasuke, what Sasuke Master the Sharingan Part 2 video, which will be on the next couple of days. I'll be working on that right after this. So, without too much waiting, let's jump into this, because I'm assuming this is going to be good.
Saitama has exceeded his limits, growing beyond his previous power to something new. How, may you ask? By sneezing and farting.
Stop the cap.
No, I.
Looks like we're having some loading problems. I will say that it only makes sense that he would get stronger. I mean, that's just kind of how this works. Like, I don't know. I guess a lot of people think that he wouldn't get stronger because of how Saitama was written at the beginning. But considering that everyone was just really weak, I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
I am being serious, no cap here, ladies and gentlemen. Saitama's knees can kill.
We are having technical difficulties. Give me 1 second, people. I don't know why we're having technical difficulties this time around. Give it a second just to catch up. Keep an eye on chat for a minute. Let's try now.
Every anime character you can think of. Wait for it. 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's a question we're going to answer. But we will leave the conclusion up to you in the comments.
That's just lazy.
Once we complete our analysis from part 1.
Oh, I almost forgot because of having technical difficulties. So Saitama's not the first person to be able to kill by sneezing. Superman, like even in its early days, was able to like sneeze entire galaxies away. So it's not exactly like a new thing in fiction. So if this is coming to the idea that he just beats everyone because of it, then you're just ignoring like other feats in fiction.
One and this video. You heard that right. This is part 2. In part 1, we scaled Saitama's power from chapter 167. If you haven't already watched it, if you haven't, then that means that you are the silliest of You're just not a Chad like the people that have the notification bell. And so, how did Saitama gain limitless power? What does the One Punch Man manga define it? Well, an important thing to remember is that his limitless is in everything. Every category that equates to someone's power. For example, limitless strength, limitless defense, limitless speed, and except for limitless intelligence. I mean, Saitama clearly doesn't have limitless intelligence. You don't need me to tell you that. Oh, and there's also gaming. Remember this?
I will say this real fast, just because I'm pretty sure that we're getting into an ad right now. Usually when it's speaking about Saitama being limitless, it's speaking to the fact that he doesn't have a limit to how powerful he can become. This is further proven with his Garo fight, where we see that he is constantly getting stronger throughout the fight. Even if you say Garo was never stronger than Saitama, Saitama can only get stronger if there is a current limit to his strength. Which means the limitless isn't within his current strength, it's within the potential.
Oh, I can't do this anymore. It's time to play Space Keepers.
Goddamn right.
One of the most appealing aspects of this game is the awesome cyberpunk art style and character.
Let's skip all that.
Okay, getting back to the point, after Saitama became bored through his training regime, his limiter was broken, and in fact was limitless from that point forward. However, his infinite power is an ability that activates when facing an opponent that provides him a challenge. A good example of this being foreshadowed from the very beginning was Saitama's battle against Crablantia. Pre-training Saitama defeated a tiger-level threat, which is the equivalent of being a B-class hero already. I mean, Saitama had something like a 9-foot-high jump. For some perspective, the world record is 8 foot and a quarter inches. Saitama cleared Crablante's height, which is stated to be 8 foot 2 inches. So at the lowest possible measure of this feat, pre-training Saitama would be slightly better than the best modern
No, he... Like, even in the clip that you showed, like, he didn't just clear the jump in one go. Like, he had to, like, push off his arm in order to do it. So when we cleared, like, if we say his arm was, like, halfway up him, about, like, 4.5 feet, and then his arm strength helped him clear the rest of it. So he didn't just clear that jump. Even then, the only reason why he won that fight is because he exploited an obvious weakness in an enemy who wasn't taking him seriously. So he didn't win because the guy was just... He was just more powerful. He just got lucky within that fight.
Human to ever do it. On top of that, in the One Punch Man audiobooks, which are approved by One, the creator of this series, pre-training Saitama was also completely unharmed and couldn't even be moved by Tatsumaki's psychic power. Bearing in mind, this is way before the events that occurred in the webcomic that we mentioned in part 1 of this series. So even that early on, Saitama was pretty damn strong. Saitama exponentially grows his base level through fighting whilst it is still ongoing. With every opponent he faced in the past, he was growing stronger, and since Cosmic Garo is the first opponent that can take multiple serious punches without dying, fulfilling his dream, Saitama's exponential growth activates due to his limitless power. Therefore, every single punch, once the battle started, was becoming stronger and stronger. Saitama was feeling an emotion in conjunction with this growth. Genos had died, which made him angry, sad, and feeling something he'd never really felt before. Garo incited this because his plan was to copy Saitama's limitless power an infinite amount of times to eventually beat it. He claims that he is hitting Saitama with serious punches with the same amount of power that he was utilizing on Earth. But Saitama grows more and more to the point where an opponent simply can't keep up.
Well, I mean, that would only be true for Garo, because Garo apparently just can't copy that quickly. Saitama also just seems to have a rapid growth, which is really good, but if somebody's just massively more powerful than him, then his growth wouldn't matter. Like, he were to fight someone like the One Above All, it doesn't matter how powerful he becomes, because he'll always be below them. And there's other characters in fiction who have this ability, but, I mean, I won't sit here and just name them all off. So how does this relate to Goku? Well, Goku's just so much more powerful than even, like, Saitama at that point in time that it doesn't matter too much. I think around that time, like, Garo's, like, galaxy level, which is about as powerful as, like, Cell in the, Cell games, which is so many leagues below what Goku is currently that it's ridiculous. Goku within the ability to fuse with Vegeta, which would be galaxy level times galaxy level, wouldn't have been enough to even pressure Beerus. But now with Ultra Instinct, he's to the point where he, like, kind of rivals him. So there's such a big gap that Saitama would have to become so much more powerful that it wouldn't matter. And that's ignoring the fact that Goku has a similar ability where the more he fights, the stronger he becomes as well, with his Zenkai and all that. So you would have to give Saitama this, like, limitless growth while ignoring the gap between him and Goku, and ignoring what Goku's growth is as well.
Because his power will multiply a number of times over what the opponent is dishing out to him until they are left with the dust. So even though Garo was copying his power level each and every time, it was useless, because Saitama's next punch was always going to be something higher. His speed and defense scales like this as well. That's why he's never really taken any damage or even bled before. Theoretically, what this means is that if Saitama faced an opponent that can keep tanking his limitless power, for example, example, if an opponent existed that could tank a serious punch that scaled to the highest it's ever been in one punch man at the end of chapter 168, it wouldn't actually matter, because the longer the fight goes on, the stronger Saitama will become, as he would just keep adapting.
I mean, okay, that's fine if Saitama can survive the fight. But let's say he throws that punch, the guy tanks it, and then the guy throws a punch so powerful it goes right through Saitama. Then it doesn't matter if he can get stronger, because the fight wouldn't go on long enough for it to matter. And that's what you're ignoring here.
To the new power level that is needed for him to attain victory. And so, let's talk about the serious sneeze for a moment. Saitama's sneeze alone can kill every single person on Earth. Just take a look at this picture just to understand the scale of Saitama's sneeze. Earth is that small in comparison to Jupiter. Jupiter is a huge planet. In fact, it has a mass 2.5 times greater than the sum of all the planets in our solar system. Which begs the question, how much power did Saitama's sneeze result in? Well, it would require around 2 trillion joules of energy. You heard that right. Now, although numbers of such magnitude are impossible to put into perspective, I will try. You would need a measly 225 million trillion joules of energy to blow up the Earth. Therefore, with the amount of energy created by Saitama's sneeze alone, he could destroy 90 planet Earths in one. Saitama's serious sneeze produced enough air pressure.
I mean, that's impressive, but Frieza was able to destroy planet Vegeta with 1% of his power, which, if I remember correctly, planet Vegeta is 10 times the size of Earth, which means Goku, in his final form, he'd be, I think it was like 1,000 times stronger, and Goku was just able to match him at that point in time. So this feat is impressive, but it's not like Goku, like even early on, wouldn't have the ability to match these levels of powers anyway.
Pressure to completely remove Jupiter's atmosphere from its core. Jupiter is composed of gaseous and liquid matter, which is divided between a gaseous outer atmosphere and a denser interior. And all of that was just wiped away. To produce this much power with a sneeze would mean that Saitama's lung capacity must be ridiculous, as according to livescience.com, a sneeze output is determined by the pressure in the respiratory system and the capacity of one's lung. A lung capacity this great would allow Saitama to swim to the bottom of the ocean and back up again in one breath. But this is also a testament to Saitama's durability of his body and internal organs, as a sneeze with this much force would break the ribs along with everybody's bones in a normal person. Therefore, Saitama has limitless stamina. That's why when he says...
No, that doesn't mean that at all. It just means he has, like, planetary to, like, multi-galaxy levels of durability. You have to scale the person's durability to the actual energy output. So if we say that's only like large planet level, that means he only has large planet levels of durability. We know that's not true because of what he does with Gaara and all that, but again, it's just disingenuous to say that off this feat alone.
In space, it doesn't even matter. Referring back to the time against Boros, where he thought he couldn't breathe on the moon, he actually doesn't need to. This then moves us on to Saitama's fart. Never thought I'd be saying that in a power scaling video. Saitama's fart, similar to his sneeze, represents the durability of his internal organs and its ability to produce pressurized gas. We can actually attempt to calculate the force of Saitama's fart because Saitama weighs 160 pounds on Earth, where according to the universal law of gravity, in space he should weigh around 142 pounds. We know that Saitama travelled faster than the speed of the rays of light light that came from the sun, traveling at the speed of 186,282 miles per second. So the momentum would be P equals mv, where P is momentum, m is mass, and v is velocity, giving Saitama the momentum of 26,412 kilogram meter per second. To put this into perspective, one of the most widely used handguns, the Beretta M9, has a typical bullet mass of 0.008 kilograms with a velocity of 400 meters per second, giving us a bullet momentum of about 3.2 kilogram meters per second. This means that Saitama's farts give off a momentum nearly 10,000 times that of a bullet. In terms of speed, well, I mean, we already explained that in part 1.
Now that we have scaled Saitama's serious fart and serious sneeze, I can't believe that's coming out of my mouth, let's take this further and beyond by scaling his feet with the sun. The sun is so massive that it makes up 99.8% of the mass of our solar system. To put this into perspective, you could fit nearly 1 million Earths inside of it. The temperature at the sun's core is also about 27 million degrees Fahrenheit. Most of the chemicals that make up our body won't even be able to live at this temperature. We would simply burn, melt, evaporate, and pass away, disintegrating as if we've never existed. The sun's activity, from its powerful eruptions to the steady stream of charged particles it sends out, influences the nature of space throughout the solar system. But despite all of that, Saitama can survive a head-on collision with the sun without even the slightest burn on his body. Because of this, it means he is 100% completely immune to radiation poisoning, fire, lava, absolutely any kind of physics. Considering how he can see, and
that would just mean he just has like extreme. Well, I mean, radiation, yes. Don't know how you get poison there, and heat resistance. I mean, kind of. There's stuff less harder than the sun, but I guess he would have like extremely good heat resistance.
And is just fine despite taking a quick little stop on the surface of the sun. Whilst us, ordinary people, can't even stare at the sun from Earth for longer than 100 seconds without causing permanent retinal damage. Of course, this all helps Saitama in battle because remember, thanks to his limitlessness, he doesn't lose his sense of direction at all, whilst Garo did and failed multiple times to know where he is during their battle on I.O. after Saitama completely ripped it apart. Saitama is limitless in balance, eyesight, immunity, anything that you can name.
How can you be limited in balance? Balance is just, at least, okay, so if you're talking about balance as in the ability to keep yourself steady, no, even that doesn't make sense because you just keep yourself steady. That doesn't make any sense. If you're talking about balance as in the ability to know which direction is which, direction itself is very arbitrary. It really all depends on which way is the strongest source of gravity. So if you destroy the planet and there's no strong sense of gravity towards you, up is whichever way up is for you. And it would change depending on where someone else is. Again, it's weird and complicated, but again, direction and all that, it's all arbitrary depending on positioning. So you can't be limitless on that. Eyesight, no, he's not limitless on eyesight. He has a limit on how far he can see. And even then, like I said before, when they're talking about limitless for Saitama, they're not saying he has infinite this or infinite that. They're saying there is no limit to how strong that can become. It's usually talking about his strength and durability and all that, not everything. Again, like you pointed out, intelligence disproves this.
Name. This brings us to the reverse causality zero punch. A lot of you are scratching your heads thinking, bruh, this is the first time I heard of this term, and I need Anime Balls Deep to use their degree in anime bullshit science to explain this to me. Basically, Garo taught Saitama the ultimate technique of his fist that he had envisioned after stealing strength from God. Garo gained knowledge about the ways energy flows throughout the universe and how different types of forces react to any form of stimuli, becoming one with the cosmos. However, despite his cosmic growth, Garo was still unable to execute this supreme skill of time travel. He knew that Saitama was the only one who could perfect his God-given skill without his assistance. So as Garo performed this ultimate technique, Saitama copied his every move. This ultimate technique resulted in Saitama imagining his own inner universe and utilizing his own cosmic rays to generate pairs of particles and antiparticles. With extreme focus, Saitama was able to force these particles to move and imitate their pairs in opposite directions. Once all of Saitama's subatomic particles had done this, he was able to travel back in time. This type of time travel is due to the idea that subatomic particles do not have a direction in time, and according to life science, if they are set in a certain way, they can go in either direction of time, being forward or backwards. Saitama illustrated he was able to do this, showcasing his ability to copy limitlessly and perfect techniques that aren't possible to do due to theoretical limitations. After Saitama
Wait, so if you're claiming that he can just copy any technique, that's just not true. He can copy techniques within his capability of doing. It just happens that the technique that he's using the time travel here is something that he is able to, in fact, do. He doesn't have chi, so he can't use chi-based attacks. He doesn't have chakra, so he can't use chakra-based attacks. He doesn't have the death note, so he can't produce what the Shimigamis can do. He doesn't have the ability to resonate his soul, so he can't do the same stuff as Soul Eater. You get what I'm saying. And to sit there and claim that because he copies this, he can copy all things perfectly, it's just ridiculous.
Saitama was able to pick the moment of time to interact with, he landed a punch which instantly knocked out Cosmic Fear Garo in his early stages. This punch wasn't even his serious series, by the way, rather it was just a normal one, which means...
What does this have to do with Goku? Why did he throw Goku in the title? Like, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you people, I hadn't seen this video up to this point in time. I wanted to save everything for like a straight out reaction, and I'm very confused why it has to do with Saitama versus Goku. We're like, what, 14 minutes in, and he hasn't said anything about Goku yet.
Saitama's exponential growth in their battle on Jupiter's moon made his base state so much stronger than his series state from back on Earth. We know this because Cosmic Garo was able to tank a serious punch often, or at least keep on moving after it. But Saitama instantly one-shots Garo with his new base level. Okay, is Saitama the strongest anime character ever created? ABD, can you answer that question for me, please?
I don't think so, pal.
So I know what you're probably thinking. A lot of you love, and I mean love, to mention Saitama vs Goku. Now, I want to state right now that we are not a power scaling channel, nor will we ever be. This is just our opinion and not a fact.
Okay.
And I know giving an opinion out on the internet results in things like this. And you might hate us after this. Okay. According to One Punch Man's logic, Saitama's limitless power also lets him warp reality, as it affects the cosmos, just like Blast and Garo mentioned. Saitama has limitless power, limitless defense, limitless speed, and his ability adapt.
You've already proven that he does that. Someone can tank his attacks and can hurt him, because Garo does slightly hurt him, even if it's just barely. Then he doesn't have limitless version of these. And if he can get stronger, then that also means he's not limitless, which means he just has a unlimited potential, not unlimited, like infinite amount.
Adapts to the opponent's strength and outdoes it, even if they are stronger than him or matching it. His ability is very similar to Broly if we think about it in the Dragon Ball verse. Broly, in the span of a movie, faced up against Blue.
No, they're not similar. They have similar concepts behind them, but they themselves are not similar. Saitama grows stronger as he's fighting people who are stronger than him. Broly gets stronger regardless of if the person he's fighting is relative to him. He gets stronger based on how angry he is. And his anger isn't just like his physical strength and all that, it's stuff like his ki and all that as well. But also degrades his intelligence as well. While Saitama, his intelligence doesn't really go down while doing it. So the only thing they have in similar is like an increase in growth as far as strength and all that.
Blue Gogeta. Across multiple fights, he scaled higher and higher to eventually make Goku and Vegeta use everything they had. Saitama's fight with Goku would look very similar in the beginning, but eventually, according to One Punch Man's logic, he will leave his opponent behind and his limitlessness cannot be scaled anymore. You guys should know by now that we are huge fans of both series. I've been following Dragon Ball since the 90s and I'm still making content on it 30 years later. I'm 30 years old, I'm an old guy, bro. But if we are using simple logic, we can argue that Goku also has exponential growth ability, just like Saitama. On the other hand, the difference is that Goku, to unlock his new limit, has to face defeat and actually be beaten.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have to be beaten at all. Did you see the Tournament of Power? He was just getting stronger just passively throughout the entire tournament. He had moments where like he was extremely low on energy and taking breaks, but no, he doesn't have to be beat. He just has to be pushed to his limit. The Kaioken Spirit Bomb also shows this, along with the Master Ultra Instinct and all that. Those are just limit-breaking things. So no, he doesn't have to be defeated to get stronger.
In the Z series, this would give Goku a huge growth after recovery due to his Zenkai boost. And then later, Goku would figure out a new technique or transformation which allows him to overcome his previous challenges. Now, even if we take into account the recent events of the Dragon Ball Super manga and its latest chapter, Goku unlocked a Saiyan version of Ultra Instinct mid-fight against Gas. He became slightly stronger than him, and this is supposedly the person that is the strongest mortal person in the universe. However, Goku still ends up defeated because the opponent Gas became slightly stronger, which is exactly what Saitama would be doing against Goku due to his limitless. As we see from the graph depicted in chapter 168, Saitama will never be in a position where he is actually losing. His growth in mid-fight will infinitely increase until his opponent is at their limit, or their...
Saitama would start off the fight here so much weaker than Goku that he wouldn't have the growth quick enough in order to be able to take out someone like Goku. At this point in time, the best you can give him is like multi-galaxy to like maybe like small universal, while someone like Goku is like complex, like multiversal or something like that. Saitama would have become so much powerful so quick that it's just unreasonable to say that he could with what we see right now.
The speed of growth is slower than Saitama. The only reason Saitama doesn't instantly blow up an entire galaxy is due to his physiological restraints. He's a human with human body type, and he has arms and legs and a bald head. You get the point. Now, again, let's use simple logic. Some fans would argue Goku's base and transformations are so powerful that his first punch would kill Saitama instantly. So his ability of exponential growth wouldn't even activate or exist against
That's what I'm arguing.
But the argument against that is in chapter 166. Garo copied Saitama's power level with the series Punch Squared, right? This is the first time ever that this has happened in One Punch Man.
That's just somebody, because I can always see where you go with this argument. That's just someone who's like 2 times as stronger than Saitama. Okay, he could survive that, but that doesn't mean he could take someone who's like hundreds of times, or even just 4 times. Like, that's just a baseless claim, and you would have to show some evidence for it, and I'm going to guess that you have none from here.
Where someone has put that much force and power against Saitama in history. He was facing a punch that could blow up an entire galaxy that it did in chapter 167, blowing up all those stars and galaxies millions of light years away, yet still Saitama tanked it and didn't take any damage or bleed at all. This means we know for a fact that Saitama can tank a punch from Goku.
No, it doesn't. Again, Goku's like hundreds of times to thousands of times stronger than Saitama in base. Taking a tech that's like 2 times stronger than you, I mean, that's impressive, but it doesn't mean you could take hits from everybody just because.
In his Super Saiyan God form. And even Blue, Goku vs Beerus mentioned that their punches made a blast that was going to destroy the universe with.
That's like the weakest version of Goku, and that wasn't even Blue Goku. That was Super Saiyan God Goku. What?
Raw power. Yet Saitama's punches towards the end of 168 could do the same, yet he tanks them and takes no damage. In the end,
no, it couldn't. That was threatening to destroy the galaxy. Goku's was threatening to destroy the entire like living universe, and that was like the weakest version of Goku within Super. And that was base. No, I don't think that was base Goku at that point in time. I think that was just God Goku. But that's irrelevant because that's still one of the weakest versions of Goku that we see in Super. He gets hundreds of times stronger than that. So that's just disingenuous.
Saitama only has to tank one punch from Goku for his ability of Limitless to activate, and then it will automatically surpass Goku's power.
No, it wouldn't. Where are you getting that? All we know about is it makes him like massively stronger. It could take like 100 punches from Goku at that point in time to get him up to his base. Again, that's just a basis claim.
Goku went straight to Ultra Instinct 100% mode and 100% power, which he usually doesn't do, by the way, because he likes to fight and play around, starting with Super Saiyan and normal form. But let's say he went straight to 100%. It's up to you to decide in the comment section below and let the war begin if Goku can straight up.
Goku wins in base still. I'm not gonna lie. Like even if you say like he can like Saitama can survive his like punches and all that, Goku still has like the Mafu Bar, which can seal away people stronger than him. He has the Hakai, which can just erase the existence. Like he has techniques to deal with these people. And if we bring them with everything that they have, he has sensu beams. So even if you sit there and say he has to be defeated, he takes a sensu beam and then he just gets Saitama's of level stronger on top of that. Oof. I knew this one was going to be, at least I suspected this was going to be rough, but oof. You didn't even talk about Goku to like the last like 5 minutes of this video. Well, that's gonna be it for this video here. Oh, okay. For some reason, it's not showing your comments on the actual thing. I'll have to figure that out later. Well, this is gonna be it for now. I have the Sasuke mastery video to work on. Let me know any other videos you want me to react to. I promise to get to them sooner. This is Kenrook out. Goodbye.